Okay, hello. My name is Miriam van der Valk, and I'm a philosopher from Sweden. And today I'm talking to Dyonne, my dear old friend, a healer from Holland. And our guest today is Axel, who is a psychologist from Sweden, Axel Pettersson. Our constant topic is personal development. And today Axel has brought the super interesting topic of how do I know who I am? I love this topic from a philosophical point of view. It's like the essence of everything we do. But Axel, do you want to start us off? What was your idea about this? How do I know who I am?
My idea about it, I don't know actually what got me started. I think I watched a video. I think it was about Carl Jung and the development of personality. And not all people think that much about their own personality. They just take it for granted, or who they are. But it's when stuff in life really doesn't work. That's when the gears don't grind that good. When people just feel bad. That's well, maybe it's not a cause, but the personality starts to unravel in some ways, and you really search for who am I, what do I want, what do I long for, and according to Jung, it's the biggest quest of all, to search for a personality, and finding it is the ultimate goal. So yeah, that's the initial picture, I think, what led me to this question.
Aha, great. So I'm picking up some very interesting things here. So one is that you said the development of personality, as if it's something that we're not born with, or development, we are born with it, but we develop it over the years, or like, what's the idea here? It's so interesting. And then you said the idea is to find your personality. That's the ultimate goal. So this is so interesting. Are we talking about tabula rasa? That we were each born, and then what's the idea?
Well, the idea. Well, maybe we are a blank slate. We could say that, but I think it's according more to say someone like Nietzsche. Becoming who you are, it's an inborn quality. But let's say that we have maybe 50% of our personality, maybe inborn, like biologically, and maybe 50% environmentally, through our experiences and growing up and stuff. It's just cherry picking a number, but that we can create some space of it, but I think that the thoroughness of the existential situation that we are in is somewhat inborn. So so you have this temperament of personality. Say for instance you are intense or calm. You can't change that. That's just who you are. And what you want in life from your personality is according to, where you start in this temperaments. Temperament, yeah. So, that's my thought on it. Anyone else?
I have a lot to say about that. Yeah, I love it. I'm so glad that I meet you, Axel, and that you come with this huge present, because it's huge and it's amazing, and we can keep on wrapping it for many episodes to come, I believe. But one way or another, you ignited me this morning on a journey. It's not a coincidence, obviously, but of James Hillman, the character code, the force of character and the soul's code. So it was actually Miriam who planted the seed of the acorn that has an innate sense of I can become an oak tree. That's apparently from Hillman. And Miriam talked about it before, and I dove into the work by James Hillman, where he actually also started his own personal journey as a Jungian psychologist, but then took a detour because he stuck around. No, not a detour. He actually just stuck around in some people say about him that he has a sort of Peter Pan complex, but I still love the fact that he's about the I'm sorry, I want to say too much at the same time, but he's about the archetype of a personality. But when he left Jung behind, that was because he said, I don't believe in the process of individuation. And that's actually what I want to bring in, because criticists talk about him. He let go of the fact that you should develop yourself, you should individuate, because it is intertwined to personally develop oneself, one's personality, to have a sense of who you are becoming by maturing yourself. And whereas as you're stuck in a Peter Pan complex, and you only want to analyze images and dreams and things, which apparently is the course James Hillman was heading, and well, or at least he stuck around in that area. So it's been criticized that, okay, but how then can you develop? How then can you know yourself? So that actually, it got me on the course of getting to know James Hillman, and I don't want to dismiss his amazing work, because his work is apparently amazing. But for you, what you say, Axel, I think to understand, to know who you are, you need to go to certain developmental stages in a life, as you say, with hardships or a crisis, if you may, and in order to get to know yourself and to know what you want to avoid in the future, or you want to become as of now, and these all assemble to a personality and to one's character. And I mean, I am over 40. I know Miriam is. I don't know your age, but I know I have a better sense of self than I had when I was 15. I was still in my assembling years, so to say. And I don't know if this makes any sense, but that is the first thing that came up for me.
Yeah, very much sense, I would say. It's the separateness you have to have in life, and well, it must be in a chronological order. Yeah, you can't separate from your, well, from society before your parents, for instance, and the separateness, that's where you create your personality. So it should be that you have a better personality the older you get, in theory at least. But I'm really not sure, according to, well, if you look at people's, well, destinies or lives, take for instance a person who gets to be a parent, especially at an early age. Say for instance, maybe at 20 years old or something, and their personality isn't, really complete or separate, and then they get to be a parent, and then personality is parenting. And if they don't separate from that picture, they are stuck with being a parent, maybe the rest of their lives, and they don't, well, grow that acorn into the tree that they could be, because they are, well, somewhat content with their personality, with the picture of themselves that they are. And well, it's I think it's a struggle to reach your full personality potential, because you must be, well, leave conformity behind. You must leave society in some ways behind. You must accept isolation. You must accept ridicule and well, people's discontent with you being a person.
Isn't it also, sorry, sorry, Miriam, can't help myself, but when you look at Maslow's pyramid, that the people that stay stuck in the basic roles or the primitive layers, like, okay, I'm a parent, I'm identified with being a parent, and I'm not look at personal actualization, which is actually the highest bit that we can do as an individual to contribute to our evolution, to our highest, how do you say, gift to the world of being here, of evolving. Sorry, I had to say this.
Yeah. Miriam, you get to talk in a second here. I just want to say this. Maslow asked his students about who in here is going to be a great writer and a great, well, novelist, all doing great deeds, he asked about. And everyone, no one really stood up and said, I am that person. And he says that we have this sort of inferiority complex. It's not me, it's everyone else. But it's those persons who are sitting there in his classroom who is going to be that person. So it's weird that we don't have the quest, at least, of self-actualizing.
Oh, that is so interesting. I'll jump in here then with the quest for individual, I'm going to interpret that as a quest for personal development and for like self-fulfillment and flourishing. We love to talk about flourishing in philosophy. But I was thinking, what did I want to say? So I was thinking about, this is my constant quest, is sort of to think, what are the different parts of the self? So when we say, how do I know who I am? So what do we mean by this who? And like, what is a narrower question to ask here? Mm-hmm. So if we go like, so what do we mean by this, by being a person and being me? So which parts are here? So one is personality, and we talked about that, and personality as partly temperament, and also partly something else, which is sort of navigating my position and my relation to other people and society and things like that. And then, but there's also another very important thing, and that is like your moral lodestar, your personal ethics. Like, what do I want to do with my life? And what is like my path from service to self, like finding myself, testing things and checking whether it's okay to be like this, and like pushing the limits like we do with our parents when we're kids, and then to the service to others, where I am like I have matured to such an extent that I can now be like my personality is at the stage where I can what's the phrase here now? I want to say service to others again, but I want to like be more clear and say something about what I mean here. But it's something about how we can, like be part of society again, like something like that. How we can recreate the new society, which is informed by our ethics that we got through this separation from society and this breaking free and this ridicule that you were talking about, the crisis, like something happens in this crisis. What do you think? Too many things?
I want to start a new train of thoughts, but I'm going to wait for Axel first to reflect on you.
There's so much stuff. I don't know.
I know, it's dense.
Yeah. Well, first off, I was thinking about personality as behaviors in your life. How congruent are your behaviors according to your personality? Are you living your ideal self, or are you living, that sort of content self? I met this client the other day who in all his work life, all the jobs he had this feeling, this inkling inside of him that something is wrong. I shouldn't be here. I should be somewhere else. But it's a paycheck. It's security. Then again, Maslow's. And other stuff too. He worked at Hägglunds, which is a arms manufacturer in Sweden, and that was another thing for him. Morally, can I do this? And he played in his head with, well, I don't really, construct the weapons. I just construct the stuff for the weapon.
Yeah. I would call it living the shadow self, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
In a way, yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely.
When one talks like that, go ahead.
Yeah. But the incongruence in your behavior, that you can't satisfy, or I know Sartre had this great question: should I go to the front and fight for my country, or should I stay and take care of my sick mom? And if I do this, I get shame will follow me all through life, or will I do this? And it's another negative consequence. So however you behave, that's life. So what is your personality saying to you? What is your congruence saying to you? What must you do? That the behavior is what your decision. The decision is must be the quest, following the quest.
If I may sum that up, it's actually in a way that when you know that what you say, what you do, and act upon is incongruent, that you could say, okay, that's a stable person because they're congruent, they're authentic, they come from a place of integrity, and they have a sense of who they know who they are, because it's all in a certain alignment.
Sure.
And when you struggle with certain inner components, may it be the shadow side that is taking over. I mean, Lord, I had my times in my life that I was like, okay, who am I? Oh, I'm full of ambivalence. Well, am I really ambivalent, or am I not choosing? Am I not showing up? Is it a part of me that's still wounded, and am I just living my wound? If I may take it to an extreme, but we can all relate to certain artists that come from a place of authentic creativity, or from heading in a downward spiral and come from a place of sheer addiction and then create music. It's funny that I watched an episode on Netflix. It's called Song Exploder. And they take an artist for half an hour, they strip one of their albums or their songs, and they look at the creativity process and where it comes from. And then you see artists reflecting on their faces in life when the creativity came about and how the song came about, and either or have they been in a healthy place where the music came from, sort of say when it's congruent with what is really going on in your personality, in your life, or is it coming from a place where the shadow took over, and are you acting out on your shadow, and are you totally lost and having no sense of who you are? And do you believe that showing up in life that way and through your music will either get you to who you are, or makes you move further away from that sense of self?
But as I was thinking,
do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Sure.
But when you're playing out your shadow life, it's still like it's just like saying no to everything all the time. It's like not an original position.
Yeah.
You're just following this line of people say it's like this, and then you go like no. So you're like following them all the time. And living your shadow life is also being you, just like the downside. So in a way, if the question is how do I know who I am, you can get a lot of information from your
shadow.
Your shadow. You just need to see is this my is this me in the sun, or is it me in the shadow? And maybe this is the how do we know when we're in our shadow? Like it's something about how that feels, I suppose. You know, if you have this constant battle in your head, which I certainly did for like 20 years, you know, is that an indication of being in your shadow, or how does it feel to be in your shadow? Because I'm like trying to get the answer to the question, how do I know who I am?
Yeah. Okay. Being in the shadow. I'm thinking. I have this. Well, a few directions. We'll see where we end up. Yeah. I'm thinking about negative reinforcement, as in CBT. That we just do it because it's easier. We do it because from our hedonistic point of view, it's what I should do right now because that's hard, and I don't want to do hard at all. And in addition to that, we are cognitive misers. We don't want to expend any more energy that we need to. So you know, if the quest, the ultimate ideal self is far away, no, that's too much work. No. Let's just grab a picture of me that I'm sort of satisfied with, or that just feels good in the moment, and you know, work with that.
I have something I need to say after this. Yeah, sorry.
And maybe this is just a thought experiment, but it's. I'm thinking about letting your emotions guide you, or letting your thoughts guide you.
Me too.
And you need to let your thoughts to reach further. You must engage with introspection, and you know, give yourself time. Just sitting in silence, you know, being in nature, watching yourself unfold.
Yeah, totally. What they often say is that if you're a thinking type person, that's me, it's very good to focus on feeling. You know, it was very difficult for me for a long time. Very. And if you're a feeling type person, you should focus on thinking. So doing the opposite is what creates growth, because it integrates both parts of you. So you don't loop around with what you always do. But what I wanted to say about this was, it had to do with this, Axel, what you said in the beginning about breaking free from society and putting up with ridicule and leaving the leaving process, you know. And I was thinking about when as soon as I had said that thing about the shadow and that the shadow can tell you so much about who you are, because it is you, it's just like the belly of you. But then I figured that's not what most people do. It's not like most people are in the shadow. Most people are just doing what they always did. That's the problem. And then they call on things like, everybody does that, you know, and they call on the voices of society, and they're like, people who are not conformists, they will point them out and they will say, you know, that's not the way we do things. You know, everybody would agree that you're the weird one and you're doing things that are not okay and you're like unrealistic. God, have I heard that many times, that I'm unrealistic. Like, how arrogant is that to come and tell me that you know what reality is, you know, and I don't. But this is like this is when you like call on the voices of society and you say like, because everybody does this, then it's the right thing, and I will also continue. Like, even if I'm unhappy, even if it gives me nothing, even if I don't flourish, even if I know nothing about myself, I will continue as yesterday and the past 20 or 40 years, because everybody, you know, so this is more of a problem than being in your shadow, I would say. This is further away from who you are than anything else, just continuing with conformity. That's the worst thing you can do for personal development, right? Isn't it?
Definitely. And if I may add something to the both of you, what you said, Axel, I totally believe that when you're not aware of your inner landscape, of your emotions and thoughts and what triggers what, then you're constantly in a reactive mode, and you actually have not a very good sense of self. Whereas when you reflect, as you say, when you go in nature or you do something else, but you take your time to process, because then your inner concepts about something, you get a chance to reflect on it, to digest it, to have your thoughts about it, to maybe check with people, and then you can come with a proper response. And response also includes responsibility, because you have to take responsibility of what you're going to give back, because everything you say has a consequence, and when you don't, you just live in oblivion in a way. And what I want to add to that, even that the last couple of years, there's so much been said of the intelligence of the body, like everything should be embodied. The brain is not the center of intelligence, but the gut is, and you know what's in the heart, what's in the soul, what's in the gut. And that brings me to the next topic. One of my favorite big thinkers of all times is Ken Wilber. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah.
He's from, I mean, the way his mind works is just insane. But the model that he comes up with, I have it in front of me also. He says, well, actually, to know yourself, you need to dive in every aspect of yourself. You need to know your body. You need to know your shadow. You need to know your thoughts, your feelings. You need to know your spirit, your intellect. You need to know everything. And then he has this integral model where he says, okay, and if you want to learn this, you should do that, or not you should, but you could do this in order to enhance your consciousness there, or in order to enhance your spiritual development, or your physical awareness, or whatever. And the list goes on. And also, Mary, your list of ethics is also in there, like how do I want to behave, how do I want to relate, interpersonal relationships and everything. So I mean, and that's obviously utopia, but all we can do in a lifetime is strive and try to see how much of ourselves we can get to know about ourselves as an individual. And then we still don't have a sense of who we are, I guess, but we can try and come close in a way, or as close as humanly possible.
Yeah, I'm thinking about this Emmy van Derzen existential philosopher quote. It's so beautiful. She said something like, at the end of the day, we all have to suffer, be guilty, and die, you know?
It's very fatalistic, but
yes,
in a way it's true. That narrows it down. Yeah,
it
is true.
But when we understand that this is like a condition of life for exactly everyone, to be guilty at that point, to like do something that is against our own morals, you know, and to suffer, to be like the subject of someone's misunderstanding of who we are, you know, somebody we feel mistreated because we weren't treated the way we feel we should have been, you know. And this will happen to everyone. And when we can sort of grow and mature in our personalities, in our personal development, in our Dabrowskian levels, you know, when we can integrate again in society after going through all these crises and things like that, then that will, that sort of sets us at a different stage. We'll be different people. But okay, thank you so much for this. I'll see you soon.
See you in a moment.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Thanks.